If you'll bear with me, I want to tell you a story about two exceptional women, two champions of equality. Both were born to immigrant families in their grandfathers' homes, one in Austin and one in Mobile, Alabama. One of German and Swedish ancestry, the other of Lebanese ancestry. They both grew up in the 1920s and the 1930s. They were both valedictorians of their high school graduating classes. They both married lawyers in the 1940s and enjoyed long and happy marriages. They were both mothers who lovingly raised their children in the 1950s and 60s. That was a time when women in Texas had limited property rights. They couldn't take out a loan in their own name. They couldn't own a business without their husband's permission, nor could they open a bank account, sign a contract, or could even control their own paycheck. One of these women earned her bachelor degree summa cum laude from the University of Texas, and years later attended law school, while raising her three sons. She obtained her law degree from SMU. She went on to become the first female assistant district attorney in Dallas County at half the pay of her male peers. She was the first woman to prosecute a criminal case and made history spearheading the effort to establish the Marital Property Act of 1967. She's been called the mother of the Texas Family Code, and she became an icon in the quest for women's rights. Her sons followed in her footsteps and became lawyers themselves, practicing in a firm that bears her family name, Raggio and Raggio. The other one postponed her formal education until the youngest of her 10 children started school, and then she graduated summa cum laude from the University of Texas at Dallas at the age of 54. 7 of her 10 children became lawyers, all 7 graduating from SMU Law School, and most practicing in a firm that bears her family name, Ackles and Ackles. One was eulogized by saying she was a trailblazer, an excellent lawyer, and one of the most fair persons I've ever met. She truly had a kind heart and contributed enormously to the state of Texas. In the eulogy, she was called the most important person alive in the state of Texas. And another observed that she loved her family dearly, loved her husband and her 3 boys, and wanted to see them successful. The other was remembered as a woman of grace and strength who brought together the unique quality of being a wife, a mother, and a civic leader. Another commented, her most outstanding quality was her sense of sacrifice and service, giving for her family and others, and her tremendous strong faith in religious beliefs. These 2 women epitomize the strength and courage and tenacity of a former generation that we've heard of today. They advanced the cause of women's rights. One of these women was Louise Raggio, and the other woman was my mother, Isabel Zogby Ackles. It is in Louise's name that this award is given, and it is in my mother's name that this award is accepted. Thank you, David Moran, for that lovely introduction, and also Stephanie Osteen, President, and the Dallas Women Lawyers Association for giving this award named in honor of a woman that I greatly admired and who was a good friend of my family. You see, when I graduated from law school, like many of the testimonies you've heard today, I had few role models who were women. My mentors were mostly male attorneys, and it was good to hear Robert talk about how the men elevated the women, advancing them based on merit. In turn, I made it a point to seek out women as they joined the profession and try to serve as a mentor to help them succeed in the many roles that women play in their life. Sometimes it's just knowing that someone's willing to help you, to support you, to believe in you, to encourage you, that enables you to weather a crisis and move forward. I learned this from my dear mother, Isabel. When I was in college, she was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It was an illness that she bore for 27 years, never even telling her closest friends. Even though her physical health gradually declined, she retained her wisdom and strength and spirit till the end. And whenever I was in a crisis moment, whether home with Al and our 6 children, or trying to overcome some seemingly insurmountable obstacle to hang into the workforce, I could always call on her for strength and encouragement. She would say to me, "You can do it. I will help you. I'm there for you. Don't give up." And even though I knew her physical condition didn't enable her to assist, those words of encouragement were enough strength passed to me to carry on. I find myself today saying that to women. You can do it. I will help you. Don't give up. I just let them know the same thing my mother let them know, that I care. My family taught me that service is a way of life, and it's through service that we will change the world. So early in my career, I remember sitting down and making a conscious decision that I would extend that philosophy to the practice of law. Rather than focusing on getting more clients or billing more hours, every day I ask, what things could I do to better serve my clients? Because I believe this is a core principle that's guided my career, and like the introduction on Lisa Havens, customer-focused is the way to go. You know, a client once told me, it was my longest client, he said, your mother raised you to be nice to people because that's the way you ought to be. And I thought, yeah. He said, that's not how my mother raised me. He said, my mother raised me to be nice to people because they might do something nice back for me. When you think about it, both those philosophies produce successful business people. But I believe that the purpose for which I have become successful is to show that it can be done by the first philosophy, that kindness and generosity can be the currency of a successful business. And as Anna Rupani lives the point, it's through giving without expecting something in return that's worth living for. So as lawyers, we have a unique opportunity and obligation to support one another and build each other up, a quote as old as Thessalonians. Because as Amber Reese pointed out, none of us have done it alone. We are able to soar because of those who paved the way and mentored us and worked hard before us. They were the winds beneath our wings. They were the ones who left the mark on the sand that Sean Brown talks of. And so as never to forget, I have a quote on my desk to this day. It's from the National Association of Women Lawyers, and it reads, "Long before women could vote, they became lawyers." Thank you so very much.